Hey friends, Ernie here with the Asymmetric Advisor, and today's Sunday. It's about 3 p.m. on the East Coast. September 20th, the day before the last day of summer, and it doesn't feel like summer out there at all right now. The last few days have felt like deep in fall weather. However, everything's still bright and sunny and green and colorful, so it's kind of a ruse. And that's kind of I guess, a facade or something different than what is really underneath, or something doesn't match up. And that is really the topic of today's broadcast. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, you know that I really don't do reviews of any other channel. Now, I may every once in a while mention another channel, talk about somebody that I admire or are doing something right or have something significant to say, and I'll give them a shout out. And I've done that recently. But there's a growing trend for a type of video in the financial space, particularly for people who are peddling their service like I am for options or any of the other financial instruments, where they attract customers by doing in-depth reviews of those of their antithesis, the people that are scammers essentially. So they'll do a review of another channel where they are just obvious scammers and show all the things that you should be looking for that you don't want to do. And they do this for one very good reason, and that is to juxtapose the scammer's way of doing things with their way of doing things and show the contrast. And so you can see that. And I have to agree that this is a very effective method of marketing. And it's an easy way to create content because there are so many scammers out there. It's unbelievable. And I'll have to admit that, before my original channel was taken down through an identity theft thing back in 2018, I had also engaged in this kind of thing where I would review or comment on people who I thought were obvious scammers. Like, what was his name? Christian from PerfectStockAlerts.com. I don't know if you remember them. And there were many others. I even went so far as to call Andreas Antonopoulos, the famed Bitcoin spokesperson, a fraud. And I still believe that to this day. And I think that is actually part of the reason why my original channel got taken down by some people who just weren't up for my critical analysis of the Bitcoin community. So I had in the past engaged in that, but since starting this new channel, I've kind of waned from that type of review, and instead tried to keep things more positive and talk about the things that I like to talk about, the things that I think are salient content that you can really use and make use of. So anyways, recently I've been looking for other people that I felt that aren't scammers out there, and they're really hard to find. And I have a little presentation that I'll show on how to actually spot the scammer, and so we'll go through that. And I guess what you could think is that everything that I'm showing you in this short little presentation, if you look for the exact opposite of this type of channel, then there's a good chance that you're going to find a channel that has good content on it. So let's start with that, and let me just show you that little short presentation. It'll be very quick. So don't get scammed. How to detect and avoid trading scams. Traders obviously need help. They're always looking for new ideas, strategies, methods, how other people are doing things, so that you can learn from them, stand on their shoulders, and then build up your own style of trading. And that shortcuts your learning experience. Now, most services like mine out there, they'll offer something that is compelling. What the scammers generally offer is these, or just any kind of service, are online courses, a signal service, coaching, and mentoring. That is kind of like the menu of things that you can get from basic financial services on the web. Now, making money by trading. There's a fat reality that you have to come to grips with before you find that trading guru. And that is that no matter who you find, you have to understand that there is no quick route, there is no easy path to making consistent profits. It's tough. You have to find superior knowledge and then build on top of that, and then on top of that also build your I guess not your muscle memory, but your acuity, your skills, your execution skills, and then the idea, the strategy, and all that, and become comfortable with it, and also understand all the different ways to mitigate potential calamities. And so, I'll harken back to one of my mentors who once said that trading is the hardest way to make easy money. And it's so true. So there is no easy, quick path. Now, using trading styles and methods that involve longer time frames have a statistical edge over shorter time frames. So what I'm saying there is that trend trading is superior to day trading or scalping even. The longer the time frame, the more or the better chance that you have an edge. Doesn't mean that you don't have an edge with some of the shorter time frames. I'm just saying that there's a better chance that you have an edge with longer time frames. And it's one of the reasons why most of the ultra successful traders out there are all trend traders. You don't hear about billion-dollar day traders. They don't exist, first of all. I barely doubt that there are million-dollar day traders out there. I'm sure, well, there could be. There could be a very small percentage of people out there that do have some kind of a knack or superior knowledge, or they've just figured it out. But studies have shown that 98% of people that day trade lose money. Studies have also shown that 90% of people, regardless of what trading style that they use, they lose money too. These are just undeniable facts. And if you're engaging in risky trading like scalping and day trading, the odds are overwhelming. And particularly if you're using or engaging in markets like Forex and crypto, absolutely, it is virtually impossible for you to make any kind of consistent profits. If you are, then you are a phenom. And to think that you can actually train somebody else to do what you do is just ludicrous. So where do most scammers hang out? And the simple answer here is penny stocks, guys like Tim Sykes, Forex, and crypto. Forex, there is a growing number of people, and the reason why people are attracted to Forex is because you can get into it super cheap. You don't have to start up a brokerage account very much. And same thing with crypto. You can get in super cheap, so it attracts a lot of people. The problem, though, is that these Forex and crypto opportunities, the platforms that people usually engage with are with unregulated markets and unregulated brokers. Now, unregulated brokers are simply not held to the same standards that an institutional quality broker would be, like a Fidelity or E-Trade or Thinkorswim or TradeStation or any of those others. So an unregulated broker is not like that. They're usually offshore, and the reason why they're there is because they know that they can get away with anything and, in fact, work with these scammer trader gurus to fleece people, to give them basically fake accounts, fake the performance, put arbitrary large spreads in their trades, have some arbitrary spike in the price of the security that they're following that doesn't show up in any other broker, but they wipe out an account. This happens. I've seen it. And they will try to steal your money. When you have an unregulated broker working with an unregulated market, it's a lot like defunding the police in Chicago. You got to ask yourself, if you're a scammer and you're working with an unregulated broker in an unregulated market, what are the chances are that you're scamming somebody in the same way that what are the chances that crime will go up if you defund the police in Chicago? It's a virtual certainty. All right, next slide. How do you spot the scammer? Now, these are general things that you want to look for. And like I said, they operate using Forex or a crypto service. Generally, that's what they're doing. And there are some people that are out there trying to offer a stock service and other things, day trading. Anybody that's doing day trading for sure. And they may not think that they're scammers. In fact, they have found a way to monetize their service and found ways to extract money from people by promising a lot of things and still work in regulated markets. And yet they know in their heart that they're not making any money, but they're okay with that because they're making lots of money through their courses and then their alerts. Anybody that's using a trading platform like MetaTrader 4 or NinjaTrader, these are open source platforms that where the traders, usually programmers, have access to the API underneath and can substitute a legitimate broker with any broker that they want, including one of these unregulated brokers or their own brokerage fantasy code that they have behind the scenes and make it appear as if their account is actually making money. And this is, of course, one of the biggest scams that's happening out there with Forex scammers out there. You want to use, they want you to use their platform and their recommended broker, of course. A lot of times they'll have affiliate links with some of these recommended brokers, and they want to suck you in. They'll work with the broker to show you huge gains. You get sucked in thinking that you're going to make lots of money with this guru, and then they got you. And once they've got you, it's kind of like the Stockholm effect, Stockholm syndrome, where you'll just keep on coming back for more and more and more pain, thinking that there's got to be a way. My guru, he's making money. How come I'm not making money? Now, the other telltale sign is that they advertise unconfirmed huge trading profits, and they will never show you their actual brokerage account, at least from a legitimate broker, and show you in real time or send you their brokerage statement that they actually made that money. They'll never do it, ever. They'll just make those claims. Or they'll show you after the fact. And they also try to sell you their lifestyle. That's the funniest part. And this is usually where you can tell these people right off the bat. They'll have some overpriced course with upsells. They never show their P&L on a first-class platform that only operates in regulated brokers. That's something you'll never see. And they won't share their broker statement, as I said. They all have a backstory, a rags to riches backstory. You know, I was a teacher, or I was living on the street, or whatever it is. They all have it. And of course, I have a backstory too, but I wasn't destitute. As a matter of fact, I've been successful my entire career. And so I have no reason to give you a backstory. And of course, then they'll flash their crib, their ride, and then their hoe. I like to say Lambos and hoes. Join us, and you too can have Lambos and hoes. Of course, they are usually very ultra slick. They're polished. They're often actors or came from an acting career. And sometimes they truly believe that they're not scammers. However, they never make money, won't share their P&L, and they offer a service and are convinced that they are doing God's work. There are even some that will point out scammers to gain your trust. So in other words, it's a scammer that will reference another scammer as, say, somebody that's good, or they'll do their own reviews, which is crazy. So a scammer reviewing another scammer to try to latch on to those people who are actually trying to do good work by doing reviews of scammers. But it falls flat on its face every single time. So they'll show you some crazy investment methods, or here's the newest one that I saw, astrological finance. Yep, that's it. That's using the alignment of planets to do the timing on your trades. Now, how do you spot the non-scammer? They only trade regulated markets. first-class markets. If you see them on Thinkorswim or Tastyworks or TradeStation or E-Trade or Fidelity, there's a damn good chance, well, there's absolute chance that they are working in a regulated market on a first-class platform that is used also by professionals. And they can demonstrate their edge that they have in the market. They can actually show you a cogent, actual edge that they have found or discovered and how they actually exploit it. They'll show you their live P&L and brokerage statements like I do. I show you my P&L. I send my brokerage statement every month to all my members. They'll offer first-class support at a reasonable price. They won't look to gouge you and try to suck you in with secondary offers. And they won't promise you rags to riches. As a matter of fact, they'll lay out reality to you and what it takes to achieve consistent profits using this edge. And that person will have real experience. They won't have just jumped onto the scene and all of a sudden they become a guru. It simply doesn't happen. Now, I've been in the business for, I hate to say it, but I've been in the business for 40 years, right? I've done just about everything there is to do. I have real experience. I have real credentials. Everything that I said on how to spot the non-scammer is exactly what I do. I work in a regulated market. I can demonstrate my edge. I show you my live P&L and broker statement. I offer first-class support at a reasonable price. I do not promise you rags to riches. I give you the straight scoop on exactly what you need to do to become profitable. And I provide the kind of support that makes sure, guarantees almost, I can almost guarantee, that I will work with you and not leave you hanging. I will make sure that you're successful. I want everybody in my service to be successful. And I have real experience. So, all right, so now I'm going to get on to some anomalies that I saw. Let me just close this up here because I'm going to go on to the next thing here. So as I said, I've been looking at or looking for other qualified gurus out there that I can learn from, that I can trust, maybe even develop an affiliate relationship or something, or maybe collaborate, anything like that. And they're very, very difficult to find because there's so few people out there that meet that kind of standard that I'm setting. That they have a real definitive edge, they show their P&L and their broker statement, and they have real experience and they can show that they're actually doing good work. And the easiest, what I got attracted to at first were reviews. And I came across one person first, and that was David Jaffee of beststockstrategy.com. And he meets all these criteria. He has an interesting backstory, but it's rooted in credible experience. And he has come up and he is a hard worker, relatively young compared to me, but he's been very successful. And so I like his channel. I liked the reviews he was doing and showing the juxtaposed position, between what a scammer does and what he does. And that makes a lot of sense to me. And he's, pointing out all the things that I've pointed out to you with these people. Except for recently, he did a review, and I'm trying to wrap my head around this. By the way, here is his YouTube channel, and so I can recommend David. He does virtually the same kind of service that I do, only he really caters to people with much larger accounts. And also, he probably doesn't provide the same level of support, but he does provide good support. He also has a very expensive course, but he doesn't require you to take that to use his service. So I can recommend David 100%. However, he did this recent, let's see here. Let's see if I can skip the ad. He did this recent review of a Forex trader by the name of Swaggy C. Now, just by that name alone, I mean, you can imagine Swaggy C, and he's a Forex trader. Here he is. Is Swaggy C, and right over here, let's see, is the Swag Academy, where Swaggy C hangs out. Now, David did point out that he thought that everything he's doing from a Forex point of view is just not credible. However, he still gave this guy accolades and thought that if he would just switch his direction, that he could really do well, and that he thought he was sincere and he liked his personality and he's a hard worker and blah, 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 blah. But I don't see how you give someone like this any kind of credence. He knows what he's doing is a scam. He's scamming people. That's like saying, man, okay, let's have this clear glass of crystal water, right? It's so nice and clear and beautiful. I want to drink it. But wait a minute. I'm going to just add a tiny little bit of shit in that water, right? Let's just put a little shit in that water. Well, what's the water like now? The water is shit. I'm sorry, David. I'm sure Swaggy C is, he's got a great background and maybe he has a lot of potential, but he's still out there scamming people. He's scamming them every day, every single day of the week, every hour of the day. And no matter how much potential he has, that's what he's doing. He's engaging in illegal activity, immoral activity. I can't separate those two things. Simply can't. All your other reviews are fantastic. I mean, and we'll go back to that. I mean, you look at all these reviews you've done on all these people, and some of them are, you found some people that you really feel that are on the up and up, or are just sort of borderline. They're still at least showing their P&L and they're honest with what they do, but you just don't agree with their way of trading. But most of these people you've found and rightly pointed out that they were total scams. Now, you did find one person in particular recently that you felt wasn't a scam, and that's who I'm going to highlight next, and that is Carl Dom of Real P&L. That was this recent review right up here, just before you reviewed Swaggy C. I don't know if there's a trend going on here or not, but Carl is also another person. I'll go to his site. There it is, Real P&L, who also shows, now Carl has 25 years of experience. He's a very knowledgeable trader. He also is doing or selling options like me and David and others, and I think that his strategy is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it is a way to slowly and methodically grow your capital. He also shows his Real P&L highlighted. That's his name. That's what he does. That's where he thinks that that shows integrity. So that was a great review of Carl, and I'm glad you reviewed him so that I found Carl, and I've been talking to Carl. And so I agree with everything that Carl's doing. And Carl also does something very similar to David, where he builds up his notoriety, builds up his audience by finding other people who are scammers, and Carl goes way deeper than David by doing in-depth reviews, actually buying the courses of these people and then exposing them. And I think that that's yeoman's work. I don't know that I have the patience for that. I would rather just put out good content that shows you how to do stuff. But I have to admit, it's a very effective method. Now, there are other people that have done reviews of Swaggy C, including this woman here. Her name is Samantha Bryant of Talkin' Options. And also another fellow I found, Hunter FX, who also did a review of Swaggy. And at first he was almost taken by Swaggy, and he thought maybe what he was doing was on the up and up. But I think ultimately he came to the conclusion that he wasn't. Now, I don't know enough about Hunter to know. I mean, he says he's a day trader and successful. I really don't know. And I'm suspect. He's got a super hot girlfriend or wife, whatever. And he uses that to his advantage, but, he seems to be dedicated to what he's doing, and he may very well make money. I really don't know. But let's go back to Samantha Bryant. who is this just super hot, intelligent woman who has a career in, or a background in TV. She was actually a traffic reporter, and then I think a desk anchor of some sort in an ABC affiliate. Now, she left that. I don't know why. I think she went out and she got her Series 7. I don't know if she ever worked for a broker, because having a Series 7 without working for a broker is absolutely useless. Maybe she just did it for the experience and the knowledge. That may be, because she seems very knowledgeable. She also did a review of Swaggy C and called him out for what he is, a scammer. And she also does these scamming videos. But what, here's the thing about Samantha. She does seem extremely knowledgeable about the financial markets, except for one thing. Except for one tiny little detail that blew my mind as I started learning more and more about her methodology. And that is that she employs something called astrological finance. That is how Samantha times her trades, through the alignment of the planets. So she takes all this wonderful knowledge, including her Series 7 license, and then uses astrology to figure out when to get in and out of a market. Now, I don't know enough about it. Maybe it does work. I could be wrong. Of course, you know that astrology is a pseudoscience, meaning that, it is... it is impossible to verify it through scientific method. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It's sort of like, are people psychic? I don't know. Nobody's been able to prove it through scientific double-blind studies yet, but some people do seem to have some kind of paranormal capability. Maybe Samantha does as well, and she charges a lot of money for her service. But she also reviewed Swaggy C and actually did a spot-on scam alert type review of Swaggy C. All right. So I hope, what is the conclusion of all this? Really, I just wanted to point out these people. I like David. I like Carl. Samantha, I like watching. But I don't believe anything that she says. Which really blows my mind, because here's a woman who is super intelligent, I think can do anything. I don't know what happened with her affiliation with the TV studio. All of a sudden, that just kind of went away, and then she jumped right into the financial world. I don't know how you make that connection. How did that happen? I have no idea. So that makes me suspect, and particularly when I hear that she uses astrological finance. Now, David, his methodology, I am 100% on top of, because it's exactly my methodology. Well, not exactly. The core part is my methodology. He uses a form of technical analysis. He uses some sort of overbought, oversold type of way of determining whether or not to get in and out. I use something very different that a lot of you probably know about, using volume profile and my own special way of analyzing that I believe gives me an additional edge on top of the natural edge that you have with selling options. So, Carl, I have nothing but good things to say about Carl. I think everything that he does also seems on the up and up. He tries for a super conservative approach and is looking to make just stay ahead of the S&P by a certain percent. And I think that, that's perfectly fine. And so I like what he's doing. So anyways, there's my review of the reviewers. And hopefully that this was helpful to you, that you got some good tips on how to spot scammers and what they're all about, the wide variety of people that are out there, the people that are doing reviews of people. But watch out, just because they're doing a review does not make them legitimate. Not unless they're showing their P&L and their brokerage statement and they're completely transparent. And they're not doing astrological finance. All right. That's all I've got to say. Well, let's see. We've got a couple of comments here. I'm wrong about charting. There are methods out there that work for sure. I'm sure there are, but the odds, the studies of the people, the number of people who are successful, do not back that up, Scooby-Doo. Not even close. All right? Not even close. So if you think that there are prescriptive methods out there for using technical analysis to be able to be a consistent winner, you're friggin' wrong, because the data shows exactly the opposite. All right. All right. Anyways, if you want a real service, I can recommend Carl, I can recommend David, and I can also recommend myself. My service is by and far, first of all, more complete and less expensive, and at the same time I exhibit the same good behavior that these guys do, but I even go an extra step. I have more experience than both of them. Carl he may be as old as I am, but I'm not sure. I think I'm older than Carl. But David, I know I'm probably almost twice David's age. And but that doesn't mean, that they don't have relevant experience. I think that he has great experience. I have just a long career in technology and finance, and so I believe I also, is that what makes somebody great? I don't know. But I've seen just about everything. I've been involved in every aspect of the financial industry right from its very beginning, from the time that it came online. In fact, I am one of those principal architects of bringing finance online. That's how long I've been around. All right. What happened to Don? Well, Don and I aren't really seeing eye to eye. Anyways, everybody, thank you very much for showing up. I really appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Have a great rest of the weekend. What little there is, and that one more day of summer. Hopefully we'll have a good day tomorrow.